The long-awaited second season of Wolf Hall, almost a decade following Season 1, continues the story of the tumultuous reign of Henry VIII, beginning with Anne's death. This follows the excitement of the BBC's first-look images of Wolf Hall's return. Even after Anne Boleyn's tragic execution ensured by Thomas Cromwell's fabrications, the history press, her shadow persists. In Episode 2, Anne's ghost is shown through the presence of a book belonging to her. A poignant scene shows Jane Seymour, newly married to Henry, poring over one of Anne's personal effects. This seemingly simple act carries profound significance for Jane. It is a way to represent her relationship with Henry's past and anxieties about her own duty. The book itself stands out as an artifact concerning Henry and Anne's relationship, making the scene historically questionable in the context of the Tudor era. Jane Seymour reads Anne Boleyn's Book of Hours in Wolf Hall. The pages shown clearly point to a specific historical artifact. Although Jane Seymour features very little in Season 2, Episode 2 of Wolf Hall, The Mirror and the Light, there is a thought-provoking scene featuring her and Thomas Cromwell. Seymour passes Cromwell a book, saying, "This was hers." Anne Boleyn's. Although she does not state specifically that it is her Book of Hours, which is an example of the show's naturalistic dialogue, it is evident when Cromwell opens it. The two pages featured in the conversation are Christ as the Man of Sorrows and the Annunciation to Mary by the Archangel Gabriel, with inscriptions from Henry and Anne, respectively. The page reveals in this Wolf Hall scene show that the book is one of 3 surviving Books of Hours belonging to Anne Boleyn. 2 of these books are currently kept at Hever Castle, the Boleyn family estate, and the book shown is kept at the British Library. It is a remarkable insight into the secret exchanges of the couple during their courting stage, with the context of each page revealing their sentiments. Henry portrays himself as lovesick with the kneeling Christ, and Anne emphasizes the desire to give him a son with the context of her chosen illustration. Books of Hours were an important part of religious life. As a devout Catholic, this item would have fascinated Jane. Hours were personalized prayer books prevalent in 13th century England until the Reformation. These books outlined short devotional services to the Virgin Mary, performed at 8 specific times daily. They included a liturgical calendar, psalms, prayers to saints, and funerary rites. Often custom-made, hours were tailored to individual preferences. Because it was not always practical to observe hours, the books were a good way for people to do so privately in their bedchambers. They were in high demand as a religious text. The Book of Hours shown in the show was likely commissioned by Henry VIII and is quite lavishly published. The religious and private nature of these books make it significant that Henry and Anne were defacing the text with love notes and promises to each other. Hours were deeply religious objects, often illuminated with intricate artwork and considered sacred. Defacing them was seen as a desecration, particularly in a society where religious authority was paramount. As king, Henry VIII was also expected to uphold religious traditions and set an example for his subjects. His involvement in such a seemingly trivial act highlights the growing power of personal desires over traditional authority. Another of Anne's Books of Hours recently had secrets uncovered. Hidden treasures were discovered in Anne's Hours in 2021. The Book of Hours shown in Wolf Hall is not the only book of Anne's that has been preserved, nor is it the only one containing an inscription. A very early Book of Hours of Anne's is kept at Hever, printed in Bruges between 1410 to 1450, Hever Castle. Anne Boleyn inscribed a miniature of the Last Judgment with the cryptic phrase Le temps viendra, the time will come, followed by her signature J.E. Anne Boleyn. She also added an astrolabe, symbolizing the passage of time. This is haunting in the context of Boleyn's earthly judgment and execution, as shown in Wolf Hall. However, it was not this book, but the other book kept at Hever that caught the attention of historian Kate McCaffrey during her master's dissertation research. The other Hours was printed in Paris around 1528. Anne Boleyn inscribed a poignant message in the book, "Remember me when you do pray that hope doth lead from day to day." Anne Boleyn. McCaffrey made an incredible further discovery under UV light.